Have you ever heard someone say, "This is against my dharma"? We use this word so casually to define religions, to judge others, sometimes even to divide people. But what if I told you the way we use the word dharma today is almost the exact opposite of what it actually means? We think dharma is a label we wear, but the ancients didn't see it that way. They saw it as something you live within, almost like a law that you are already part of. And if you are not aligned with it, everything in your life starts feeling heavier than it should. So instead of defining dharma, let's try to find it. Most of us didn't learn dharma from the Veda. We encountered it through what has been lived, remembered, and passed down from Ramayana and Mahabharata. Not as stories, but as reflections of life itself. Because here, dharma is not explained, it is lived. In the Ramayana, Sri Ram doesn't sit and define dharma. He chooses to live it. Even when it costs him his kingdom, his comfort, his personal happiness. That is why it is said, Ramo Vigravan Dharmaha. Sri Ram is not following dharma, he becomes it. And Sri Ram gives without hesitation. Not because dharma is easy, but because dharma is true. Sri Ram is the epitome of dharma. And then comes the Mahabharata. And something doesn't become unclear. It becomes uncomfortable to face. Because here, dharma is known and still not followed. Duryodhana knew what was right and chose against it. Bhishma and Karna knew. Even Yudhishthir faltered. This is not confusion. This is conflict within. So Mahabharata is not asking, what is dharma? It is asking, if you already know it, why go against it? And this is where Sri Krishna steps in. Not to define dharma, but to remind you of what you already know. Swadharme nidhanam shreyaha par dharmo bhayavaha. Better to fall in your own dharma than to live someone else. Because dharma is not imitation, it is alignment. And then he goes even deeper. Dharma is not just knowing, it is how you act with awareness, in alignment with what is true. And suddenly, dharma is no longer a question, it becomes a way of being. Long before these kings were born, before these wars were fought, something was already in place. Let's go to the root of the word. From the Veda, the word dharma comes from dhya, to hold, to sustain. So dharma is not a belief. It's not a system. It is that which holds everything together. Look around you. The sun rises every single day. Rivers keep flowing. Fire always burns upward. Do they decide to do this? No. They follow a law, a relentless discipline, a precision that never breaks. Taittiriya Aranyak says, Ritam Satyam Param Brahma. This is Rita, the cosmic order. This is Dharma. This order is not just observed, it is participated in through ritual, discipline, awareness. Not to control the universe, but to remain aligned with it. Because Dharma has not yet become a problem. And notice something carefully. The sun doesn't wake up confused. River doesn't stop from flowing. Everything in existence is perfectly aligned. Only humans drift away. The universe doesn't negotiate. If the sun decided to find itself and stop rising, everything ends. We are the only part of creation that thinks it can break the rules and survive. How much longer do you think we can drift before the order forces us back? So, now the question becomes, if the entire universe follows dharma effortlessly, why don't we? This is where the Upanishads steps in. They don't introduce a new dharma. They remind you of what you have always been part of. Satyam vada, dharmam chara. They are not giving you rules. They are telling you, align yourself with what already is. Dharma didn't become internal. You were always meant to live it. But then they go even deeper. Yo vesa dharmaha satyam vetat. Dharma is not separate from truth. It is truth lived. Then comes the Purana, and many people think this is where Dharma become rules, duties, systems. But look closely. They didn't add rules. They became survival guides. We didn't need more rules. We needed a way to survive our own confusion. Because by this time, humans were forgetting so fast. We needed maps just to find what was always there. So Dharma had to take a new form, not as philosophy, but as living examples. Prahalad, who stands against the world and still does not break. King Harishchandra, who loses everything, but not his word. These are not just stories, they are memory. The source never changed, only the reminders multiplied. And today, we are doing the same thing again. We have reduced Dharma to religion, identity, arguments. But Dharma was never any of this. It was never something you claim. It is something you align with, not by what you say, but by how you act, moment to moment. So maybe the real question is not what is Dharma, but why we keep forgetting it. Because Dharma was never something you had to create. It was always there, unchanged, silent, holding everything together. And the moment you align with it, you don't start following Dharma. You simply stop going against it. Today, don't look for Dharma in a book or a temple. Just observe one moment in your life, the way you speak, act, respond. And ask yourself, because the moment you force life, you have already stepped out of Dharma. Tell me that one moment in the comments. Let's try to find Dharma in the ordinary. Dharma is the order, silent, mathematical, universal. This is the speaking thread. Stay curious and let's keep the thread going.